go. And then the next great thing, in 1879, they got a letter from A.P. Sinnett, who was the founder, the editor of the great newspaper, The Pioneer, wishing to meet H.P.B. and myself. And his kind offices came at a time most needed. I have never forgotten, nor ever can forget, that we, personally, and the Society, lie under a deep debt of gratitude to him. Because, of course, Sinnett, as the editor of the greatest then newspaper in India, did have the respect and confidence of the government. And that meant a great deal in those days. Sinnett was critical of the Society, but he remained an ally. And it was one of those curious things where Sinnett, of course, as a Victorian Pakasab in India, could be incredibly clever and far-seeing, and he could be unutterably dim at times. One cannot account for this. But his wife, Patience, was the one of the couple who had the intuition, and she seemed to understand what was taught and what the whole purpose of this great exercise was, without in fact ever being told. Her higher self sort of thing picked it all up. However, it was a great help to the Colonel and a great help to H.P.B. to have Sinnett as an ally, and he invited them to stay with him. He lived in Allahabad, and they went there in December. Now, there is a remarkable story which I'm going to read to you. They were staying in Allahabad. The talk one evening had embraced the problem of the universal diffusion of intelligence throughout the universe, and an amusing proof of its existence in one of the most stupidest of birds was about that time given us. There was a fowl house behind our kitchen, tenanted by a flock of chickens and one family of ducks, a clumsy Muscovy drake and his 3 wives. Miss Bates of our quartet had the management of the poultry in her hands, and as usual they'd run toward her whenever she came their way. On a certain evening, after finishing our dinner, we lingered chatting at table when a loud quack from beneath Miss B's chair caused us to start up in surprise. It was the waddling, clumsy old drake, which, as soon as he saw Miss B noticing him, quacked again, only it's printed in the book as quaked, quacked again and again, shook his tail, flapped his wings as though something troubled him. He moved, still quacking, toward the door, looking back at her as though asking her to follow him. We saw that his strange behaviour meant something, so we all followed him out of doors, and he led us to the coop, where a great row seemed to be going on. Hens screaming, ducks quacking for dear life. Evidently they had been, or were still being, disturbed by rats. Presently, by the light of our lantern, we saw that one of the old drake's wives had thrust her head and neck through the bamboo slats of the coop, and had got caught there by slipping down to a point where the projecting knot of one of the bamboos had so narrowed the slit as to pin her neck fast when she sank. She must have been attacked by some vermin, and flying in her fright against the palings, passed her neck through, but struck her breast heavily against them and fallen. She would have been strangled if her 2 sister wives had not thrust their backs under her, and there they were, supporting her weight, while the drake, escaping through a badly fastened door, came and called for Miss Bates' help. the attention of Messrs. Romanes and Herbert Spencer, you remember the great philosopher, is invited to this proof of animal intelligence, which I thought a delightful story amongst hundreds, in fact,